Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully that you are hearing my voice. Thank you very much for your presence. And this is the Journey 100-day course to understand human life, to understand your life and create a fulfilling life. Today is day 2. Thank you very much for your presence. And yesterday we have uh, discussed about, we have shared about the 6 self-awareness limitations. 6 self-awareness limitations which stop or impede us from doing what we want to do, turned to be a person we want to be. And today we'll discuss, we get to know one more principles. The principle that affects human life, affects our life. Imagine in front of you is a dark room. Dark room. In front of you is a dark room, okay? And you want this room is lit. It's lit. There are two options for you. There are two options for you. In front of you, there is a dark room, and you want there is a light in the room. There are two options for you. First one, that you bring the light in. Bring the light in. Okay, bring the light in. The second option, that you take the darkness out. Take the darkness out. In front of you, there is a dark room. You just imagine. And you want there is light in the room. There are two options for you. The first one, that you bring the light in. The second one, that you take the darkness out. So what could you choose? Could you choose? And most of the answers that I got from people around, that brings the light in. Even the kids know the answer, that we just turn on the lights. There's light in the room. Or open the door, there's light straight in the room. And we don't know how to bring the darkness out. And even we know, so do we don't, we're not sure if there is light after we take the darkness out. Is it right? And let's take these analogies like dark rooms represents for the difficulties, for obstacles, for troubles that we encounter in our life, that we encounter in our life. And when we face those obstacles, we face those difficulties or problems. So, what could you do? What do you often do? Bring the light in or take the darkness out. So, if you choose to bring the light in, means that you focus on how, for example, if a person gets a health problem, if a person get a health problem, and they often try to deal with that or cure from that disease, for example, go to see the doctors, go to the hospital, check what it is, try to deal with that, and after they are, for example, it could be a stomach ache, and after they get the medicine, they take the medicines and they recover from that. And do you think that it could happen again? It could happen again. So they are trying to bring the darkness out, try to resolve that healthy issue, that health issue. And if it's not a stomach ache, it can be headache, it can be a backache, many health issues comes. Because we just focus on take the darkness out of the room, how to um, erase these disease in us, right? But if we shift to another mindset that we bring the light in, it means that we focus on health, good health conditions. We focus on how to have, what should I do to have a good health condition? What should I do? Uh, or what do I have to do to be healthy? If you're healthy, there's no sickness, there's no disease, there's no health issue. If you are healthy, so that's how the light can resolve any problems in our life, and we don't need to care about that problem. We don't need to care about those obstacles as long as there is light. And this we call the light principle. This principle, we call it the light principle. If there's light, there's no darkness. The light reveals there's no darkness. The light disappear, darkness appear. It doesn't mean that darkness are gone somewhere, but they it exists at the same time. But if there's light, we don't see the darkness. If there is good health conditions, there is no health issue. If there is gratitude, there is no resentment. If There is tolerance, embrace. There is no problem with people. If there is inner peace, there is no suffering. So if we focus on the light, we focus on how to have a good health conditions, how to have a good harmonious relationship with other people, or we focus on gratitude, we focus on humbleness, there is no arrogance. We just focus on the light. We don't see the darkness. We don't see the darkness. And let's say you can experience this one. For have you ever experienced the situation that are in a scenario circumstances that you love someone very much when they are very far away from you in a far distance, you could stay in this city and he or she or he is in another place, in another place, and you always sees the good in each other. But when you'll stay close to each other in the same house, same place, and the more earthly things about them appear in your mind. Have you experienced that situation? Why it happened? Because if if with the strangers we don't mention it, but for those who are our loved ones and we have to stay close to them, if we don't make the good in them bigger in our minds, the ugly thing about them will appear get bigger in our minds. If we don't proactively bring the light in, the darkness will cover everything. So that's why we need to be proactive. We need to be proactive, bring the light in our house, the house of our minds. So try to see the good in our loved ones, the good in other people, in our colleagues, to those we have to interact with, so that the good in them gets bigger in us. If we focus on the light, we don't see the darkness. And even a person who experienced darkness for, I could say, for years, for 100 years, of course, no person can live in 100 years, right? But anyway, the wise man said that even we experience darkness for years, for 1,000 years, as long as the light is, there is no darkness. It doesn't mean that darkness disappear. We just don't see it. If there's light, we don't see the darkness. If there is gratitude, there is no resentment. If there is humbleness, there is no arrogance. If there is inner peace, there is no suffering. That is what this light principle want to tell us. That is what this light principle want to tell us. So if you want to have something, clarify it, focus on the light, focus on the good side of it. Many people said that they want to be successful, but what they talk about is all about I am afraid I couldn't make it success, make it succeed, something like that. What they say is often about is opposite to what they want. Focus on the light. Focus on the good, the good side of it. Okay. And how do we apply these principles into our life, into our works, or into the way that we educate our children? So we need to know the segments or the problem in our lives in general. How many problems or areas of problems that we could encounter in our life, and there are many problems, obstacle, issues that we have encounters since we was born till now, right? Many problems. And to simplify it, we the expert has simplified all the problems, the issues that we can encounter in our life into four areas. The first one, they call that inner being. Inner being. Second one is about health. Health, beauties, or beauties under health. Also about health. The third is relationship. Relationship. And the roof is finance. Finance. Okay, finance. In terms of the problems that we could encounter in our life, there are many. There are many. But if we want to, we need to simplify it so that we know what we need to, where we need to bring the light in. There are four areas in life that we can focus on: inner being, health, relationship, and finance. Inner being is like the foundations of a house. Inner being, or somebody said mind, the mind is like the foundation of a house, with the pillars are health and relationship. With the pillars are health and relationships. And the roof is finance. The roof is finance. Why the roof is finance? Is it right that after you graduated from college, university, from school, and you try to find a job, look for a job, earn earn money, or run your own business, earn money, and somebody neglect in the mind, in a being, neglect their health, neglect their relationship, and at the end they can have a lot of money, but they use the money here to resolve the problem in health, the problem in relationship, and the problem in their inner being, in their mind. At the end, they have nothing. So that's why we call finance is the roof. We need to build from the foundations. A house always starts from the foundation, and inner being is like a foundation with the stable mind, with the inner peace inside. When you face any problem in your life, like you can deal with anything that comes to you. So the other things is not a big deal anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. And health, relationship, good health and harmonious relationship is like a pillar, a strong concrete pillars of the house. And when we have finance, it can have protect our house better. But most of us just view from the roof, and then they got nothing. Then they got nothing. So when to understand this principle, we need we know what how important to build from the foundation, the inner being, the mind. And because of these four areas affect each other, they influence each other, so it generates many problems in our life. Let's say, is it right that when you feel unstable in your mind and somebody come to visit you, right, come to visit you, do you want to talk to them or spend time to them a lot, or you just want to stay alone and think about your problem? Anyway, you don't want anyone bother you, right? So the problem in the beings could affect the relationship. And if we don't have good relationship with someone, it could affect our mind, it could affect our inner being. So if they affect each other, it generates many problems in our life. And our inner being also affects the finance. Our inner beings also affect our finance. Hello, teacher Wee. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And an inner being affects the financial conditions, right? If you don't have the money to earn money, or you don't want to focus on earning money, so it could affect your financial condition. And your financial conditions also affects your inner being. Could also affect your inner being. If you have good financial conditions, so you can stay in a place that give you good a very good environment for you to foster your inner beings, your spiritual life. So with a good condition, financial conditions, this could support your inner being. And your inner being's states could affect your health, could affect your health, right? Um, if you feel tired or feel unstable, it can affect your health. And if you have good state of mind, it's really a booster to your health, physical health. And your health also affects your inner being. With the good health conditions, with a good body, It's have our spiritual life better, right? And in moreover, in according to WHO, health is a complete state of um, physical, social, and mental well-being. So including three aspects: physical, social, and mental well-being. So because of that, our physical health also affects the relationship. Also affects the relationships. If we don't feel good, so when someone wants to visit us, we don't want to spend time with them. And in return, relationship also affects our health. If we have good health conditions, if we have good relationship with our many people, it really puts our health in another level. And there is our like it's like studied for more than 50 years in the US about the relations between health and relationship. And those who have a good relationship with people around them seems to have a longer life. And it's not just live longer, but with a good health condition in general. And our health affect the financial condition. With good health, we can work more, right? Or we can find the way to work better, smarter, for example. So it's also affects our financial condition. And in return, financial condition also affect health. If we have good financial conditions, you can have focus more on the quality nutrition that you take in, the place you live, and you can go to many centers that support your health, for example, or you can take something that's very good, high-end quality product for your health. And finance affects relationship. Finance affects relationship. If you have good financial conditions and you want to give your loved one something, just do it. You don't need to think too much, right? And you can take them for a vacation to somewhere, even travel around the world, and bring the joy into their life. You can connect more to your loved ones, for example. And with the relationship also affects our financial condition. Two people split, so their financial conditions can split into two already. And with a good relationship in at work, it's very good for your career, for your earning. Am I right? So these four areas affect each other, impact on each other, influence each other, generates countless problems that we encounter in our life. And this is our house, the house of inner being, of health, of relationship, of finance. So we know that there is the light principle. In the beginning, we mentioned about the light. the principle of light or the light principle. So how do we apply this principle into our house, the house of inner being, of health, of relationship, of finance? We need to bring the light in this house. So which light we need to bring into this house, into our house, so that we don't need to deal with the darkness. We don't need to deal with the problems that we encounter in our life because there's lights. We don't we don't need to care about the darkness anymore. There are seven lights. There are seven lights. Okay. We take another paper and we draw a house in the middle of the paper. And at the bottom, still in a bead. On the left side, still health. Mm. Health. On the right side, still relationship. And at the roof, finance. In the middle, in the middle of the house, in the middle of the house, draw a hexagon. Draw a hexagon. So from each angle of the hexagons, we draw a light to the edge of the house. And we have seven cells in this house. We have seven cells in this house. At the bottom, in the center of the house, at the bottom, okay, the cell in the center at the bottom of the house, we write wisdom. Just draw the house as I guide you, and we will explain. I will explain it later. On the left side of wisdom, inner state is inner state. Okay, inner state. On the right side of wisdom is character. Character. In the hexagon is virtue. Virtue. On the left side of virtue, at the upper parts, is physical physical well-being. On the right side of virtue is capability. On the top, above virtue, is material. Well being. Material well being. And we call this is WIT home. WIT represents for wisdom tree. Why is wisdom tree? We'll get to know it when we go to the light of wisdom, when we explore about wisdom light. Okay, go back to the light principle. There are 7 lights that we need to bring into our house, the house of inner being, of health, of relationship, of finance, of finance. That's wisdom. Wisdom. If we have with wisdom, we know what to do at at the moment, what to say at the moment. We know which is the right path to go. And inner state, with the wealth of inner states, the richness in the inner states. So you have the appreciative gratitude, you have tolerance, you have inner peace. So states, with these 3 states, you can have not only the good spirit or material life, but also their spiritual life with the light of characters, character wealth. We call this character wealth or the wealth in character, the wealth in character. So these people have the characters that other people want to get closer to them. Of course, all of these lights, all of these wealth, we call this seven wealth, seven holistic wealth. All of these wealth, these lights will are discussed in details in their comment sections. And with the virtues, the persons with have wealth in virtue. When we talk about wealth, not just about the material things, but also non-material things. So who have the wealth in virtues, they do some, they can develop their their potentials in another level. And what we they do for what they are doing, they do for the sake of the whole, not only for them. And when we have the capabilities not only about our professional skills or our quality to perform work well, but also we have the capability in relationship in their perceptions. And physical well-being, of course, if we have the physical well-being, as long as we have health and time, we can achieve anything that we want. And material well-being supports and protects our non-material our non-material assets. I call this assets. And we call this is seven dimension dimensions of holistic wealth. Holistic wealth. Seven dimensions of holistic wealth. When we talk about wealth, we often think about materials, right? We often think about material. Hmm. So, and if we mention someone that he or she is rich, usually in our mind, we think that person of money. And people in society are defining those who are rich are those who have a lot of money. It's about the material things. Mm. Material, material, wow, material wealth. And they think that those who have their material wealth are rich or wealthy. And then they realize that many people, many families are very big, that families, they have a lot of assets, properties, monies, and they shares to the persons in the family, to the members in the family. But those members don't know how to, don't have the capacity enough to protect that assets, that properties. And then at the end, they have nothing. And society have their mindset that wealth is not about money, it's not about the material only, but we need to have capability to protect it and make it bigger, develop it. So we have another concept about our capability wealth. Should be capability wealth. Capability wealth. And then they realize that with the material wealth, the capability wealth, and for those who just focus on work, earn money, and they forget their health, at the end, they don't have good health enough to enjoy their life, to enjoy the money that they earn. So the societies define that the wealthy persons not just only have money or have the capabilities, but they need to have physical well-being or physical well-being to represent for that is a rich person. That's why, Ironman's the competitions that people said that is the most challenging competitions, sport competitions in the world. Many, many rich people participated. It is for many purposes, but there are some ones want to prove that they're strong enough, they're wealthy enough or rich enough to experience that most challenging sports competition, for example. Anyway, we need the physical well-being to enjoy our life or do whatever we want. So when they define about the wealthy persons, they include the physical well-being as well. And then um, and then the society also realized that those who have physical wealth, be it or capability wealth or material wealth, is not enough. That person needs to have the virtual, and we call that virtual wealth. Need to have the virtual wealth. What they do, they need to do for the love of everyone. They need to have their custody. They need to have the righteousness. They need to have the responsibilities for the whole. They need to have wisdom. They need to have the honesty, for example, which represents for a person who is virtual, who has the who has the virtue. And after that, there are many, many people on the top of their career or the path. They have their they earned a lot. They're very successful. They're on the top. But many people feel lonely and they think they are not successful as they stay on the top alone. And the society has another idea about the successful person. It's not just only have their material wealth, capability wealth, physical well-being, virtual wealth, but also they need to have their character, character wealth. The person who has the character wealth with the character wealth that have the character that make people around them want to stay closer to them. If you stay in the top, at the top with many people, that will be truly successful. But if you stay there alone, not many people like that. So that's why not many people want to stay in the top because they feel so lonely. Because they feel so lonely. But if you're successful with many people, it will be a different story. It will be a different story. So that's why the character wealth appears to represent, contribute to the wealth, a really wealthy person. And then we have another concept, another factors, which is inner state. Inner state. Wow. Inner state wealth. Those who has their inner state wealth, they have their appreciative gratitude for everything that they have in their life. They have the appreciative gratitude for the presence of the people that appear in their life. They embrace other people's faults. They're tolerant with other people's behavior. They simply have the good relationship with other people, with people around them. And when they face any difficulties, when they face any problems, they have the inner peace and they feel at ease to deal with those challenges, those challenges. So that is the person who has their inner state wealth. So with anything that comes to their life, they always have the way to respond effortlessly, gently, peacefully. And to have this foundation of these wealth, inner state, character, virtue, physical well-being, capability, material wealth, it need to comes from the wisdom. Wow. So we have the wisdom wealth is the foundation of this wealth, and we call these are seven dimensions of holistic wealth. Holistic wealth. Not just wealth, but holistic wealth. And in this holistic wealth, we have non-material, non-material aspects. I call this non-material assets. And the material assets. Material assets. To have the holistic wealth, we need the material one and non-material one. And how do they, what are their roles in each other? We have the two types of assets, right? Non-material, non-material, and material, non-material, and material. So let's say the material, the material can have urge to protect the non-material assets, and the non-material assets can't raise the material assets in another level. For example, have do you have any souvenir or any gifts or anything, any items or things that you value it a lot and you love it more than anything? Not really more than anything, but you love it a lot. It could be a gift from your loved ones. It could be something that someone very close to you gave it to you. And when if we talk about its true value, like the price to produce that product, that items is just a little, just small amount, but you can pay it a lot to have it. Um, there are, I have seen that many people love collecting stamps or like the old motorbike, like a scooter in Vietnam. There are many uh, types of old scooters in the past. The scooter in the past, and many people, some people like to collect them, and they can pay it a very high price, very high price, more than that's true value. It's true value to have it. So it means that that product has add on the non-material asset. The material part in that items, for example, just $50, but the non-material assets, non-material parts in that items is more than that. So that's why people are willing to pay a very high price to have it, or the non-limit the limited version of a bag, for example, because at first is limited, second is branding, right? And is from very good brand, and they put in it the non-material assets, like there is a story behind that product. It could make from or designs from very famous designers, and the material that they have to make that product is from a very far distance, for example, or from a material that is hard to have it, for example. So they put the non-material, they uh, place the non-material things, the non-material asset in that product, and even the raw price is just, for example, just $50, but because of the non-material assets, people are willing to pay $1,000, even mm, there are some products even $1 million because of non-material assets in that product. So that's how we are willing to pay something that we know that the raw price is not that much, but because of the non-material assets, the non-material things that people put in it, it raised that product's price and um, higher at another level, and we call that we non-materialize the material thing. Okay, we non-materialize the material thing. Non-materialize. mm, Materialize. We non-materialize the material things, and there are material things, there are material assets like wisdom, like in the state, like character, like butter. So how do we have it? How do we do you have you ever have the inquiry or question that I want to have wisdom, and so how can I have it? How can I attain it? I want to have happiness. I want inner peace. And those are non-material assets. So how can we have it? How can we attain it? We need to materialize the non-material things. We need to materialize. We need to materialize their non-material things. so that we can sense it, we can have it. And in this journey, there is a knowledge that can help you to materialize the non-material thing. So we will talk about it later. And go back to this non-material and the material things. Does it mean that when we have the non-material assets, non-material parts in our material things, the price or the value of that material things can be raised, can be raised up, right? Higher, can be raised up higher. So that's why the non-material things, the non-material assets can't raise the material assets at a higher price, at higher value, add value to the material things, the material assets. And the material assets can help to safeguard, can help to protect the non-material assets. If you have good condition, financial condition, if you have the capability, if you have physical well-being, can have to protect your wisdom, your characters, your inner state, your virtue better. And do you think that yourselves, if you think yourself as a material a material asset, usually people define themselves as their capability. So that's why when you got a job and they offer a salary, a rank of salary for you, and that based on your experience in the past and your skills, your professional skills or expertise, for example. Anyway, they base on your capability and pay that salary for you. So it's kind of from material things, right? But let's say if you add the non-material things, the non-material assets in you, if you add the non-material asset in you, do you think that your values would be higher? It's not at the same price that I give you. How do we pay for a person who has wisdom? How do we pay for a person who have their inner state wealth? How do we pay for a person to have character wealth, or for a person who has a good virtue or virtual wealth? There is no price for that. They can pay for your capability, but they cannot pay for your wisdom, your character wealth, your inner state wealth, your virtual wealth. That is how we add the value, the non-material value in us, so that nobody can defy us but but ourselves. Other people cannot defy us but ourselves. Depends on the non-material values that we add in us. So those for those who have hard time in their material life, you need to go back. If you have no way to go and you just in this journey, so you need to go back and add more, add the non-material value in you. And you are the ones who defines who you are, not others. And how to add non-material assets, non-material value in you. So this journeys we mainly focus on the non-material values No worry about that. We'll discuss about that later in the comment sections. But at this moment, at this moment, if you want, nobody can define or paid the price for you that they want. You need to focus on add the non-material value in you. And how do we do that? We'll know it later in the later sections. And right at this moment, we need to have this mindset or to have this awareness that add non-material value in you, because it's non-material value. Nobody can define it. People can pay $1,000, even $100,000 for an item, or $1 million for an item. So there is no certain price for the non-material value. Focus on adding non-material value in us. Okay. And we have these 7 dimensions of holistic wealth: wisdom, inner state, character, virtue, physical well-being, capability, wealth, material wealth or material well-being. And with these 7 light, these 7 dimensions of holistic wealth, we don't need to care about the problems or any issues that arise in inner beings area, in health area, in relationship area, or in financial area. Why do we need these 7 dimensions? Because, you know, in every, in the candle, in uh, um the lamp, we have the lights at the top end, right? And at the bottom, there are an area of darkness. So there's a darkness area at the bottom. So these 7 lights will shed light for each other. They delight each other. So that's why we need these 7 dimensions of holistic wealth. All right, so that's all for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presence, for your time, and for the love of yourself. Adding non-material asset, non-material values in you, so that you can raise your values. All right. So that's for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presence. I appreciate all of your give, your love, your beautiful words, compliments to me, and I'm grateful for uh, what I have learned from the wise man, from my master, my teachers, and that's why we have these sessions. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye.